walked out with $50,000. The casino had no idea how, and after hours of excruciating wait, they realized they couldn't prove a single thing. He wasn't a gambler, not in the traditional sense. Before the chips and flashing lights, he was just a systems engineer in Arizona, quiet, methodical, and dangerously curious. While others spent nights binge-watching shows, he pored over probability charts, casino manuals, and game theory PDFs. He'd never been drawn to cards or dice, but the mechanics behind them? That was his obsession.
Sure. 300 grand.
He treated it like a project, not a heist, but a hypothesis. Could someone beat the house without cheating? No electronics or marked cards, just pure observation and flawless timing. It started with watching dealer rotations on YouTube, noting payout irregularities, and digging through online forums where casino workers vented about outdated machines and glitchy game tables. After 6 months, he wasn't thinking like a player. He was thinking like a casino. He knew how they shuffled, when they reset, and which randomized systems were anything but. So, you see, he wasn't planning to steal. He was planning to exploit what was already broken. But even the most brilliant theory needs the perfect stage to come alive. He found it in a dimly lit corner of an off-strip Vegas casino, a row of progressive blackjack machines tucked between the bar and the restrooms. The average player barely noticed them, but to him, they were gold mines in disguise. These machines operated on a hybrid payout algorithm. Every few rounds, based on a rotating jackpot trigger, they offered a side bet with a potentially massive return. But buried in the machine's rules, publicly posted but ignored, was a crucial oversight. The progressive meter reset wasn't fully randomized. It followed a pattern based on dealer rotations and hourly machine syncs, which he tracked for weeks. That wasn't illegal. The information was public. The machine was functioning as intended. But the payout surge, if timed precisely, became predictable. It wasn't a glitch, it was a rhythm. So he tested it. One quiet Tuesday, he placed $20 on a side bet at exactly the right moment. He walked away with $480. No alarms or red flags. Then he did it again the next week. $200 became $1,100. Each time, he bet when the math told him to. But what he discovered next would redefine the rules of casino advantage play forever. He cracked the pattern without any gadgets or fancy hidden cameras. He relied on sheer mental precision. He realized that every time the progressive side bet meter reset after a dealer rotation, specifically when the deck was reshuffled following a double hit hand, it triggered a predictable payout window lasting roughly 7 to 10 bet cycles. Completely legal, because the casino never randomized that timing. It was a flaw in design, not policy. So he didn't need devices, nor did he have to mark cards. He simply memorized the sequence and bet aggressively during the window. His mind became the tool, analyzing dealer swaps, counting rounds, timing his wagers. One pivotal night, he sat at machine number 23. The meter reset. His heart hammered as he placed his side bet, $200. Hit. Then $400. Hit again. He pressed on, $800. Hit. With quiet confidence, he doubled to $1,600 and then $3,200, all within that golden cycle. By the time the window closed, he'd made $14,000 in under 45 minutes. The casino's security screens flashed the sessions, each transaction legal, each card shuffle textbook. They watched the footage in slow motion. No electronics, no accomplices, no cheating. Just math and memory. Internal reports later concluded, no rule was broken, just exploited. And so he did it again, and again, and again. But in Vegas, even ghosts leave patterns, and his streak was too perfect. After his third big night in 2 weeks, the casino couldn't ignore him anymore. It wasn't the size of his wins, it was their consistency. Always during the same hours and always on the same type of machine. Always just below the threshold that would trigger a formal tax report. The pit bosses flagged his player's card, and security followed discreetly, watching his every move from the moment he entered. They recorded his hands, his eyes, even when he walked to the bar. But there was nothing that they could pin on him. No wires, not even any suspicious conversations. Still, something felt off. They brought in 2 compliance officers from the State Gaming Commission. Over the next 72 hours, they pored over every second of footage as they ran checks for thermal devices, electromagnetic interference, and partner signals. But nothing. He used his player card, claimed his winnings, smiled, and nodded when staff greeted him. Completely transparent. The final report called it statistically improbable, but not in violation of any gaming law. The casino staff hated it because, after all, the cameras didn't lie. Despite the footage, the wins, the suspicion, they lacked one crucial thing that made him invincible. They had no legal grounds. The casino wanted him gone, but without concrete evidence of wrongdoing, they were trapped by their own rules. The game's structure, the predictable cycles, the unrandomized resets was built into the system. All he was guilty of was simply having studied it better than anyone else. Security teams proposed blacklisting him, but legal shut it down, as any ban without proof could trigger a regulatory backlash, or worse, a lawsuit claiming discrimination or wrongful exclusion. You see, he wasn't really hiding anything. He didn't even deny what he was doing, because he didn't have to. The strategy wasn't secret, it was just overlooked, a legal gray area wrapped in technicality. So they tried to freeze him out. Dealers were told to watch him closely. He was served drinks slower. Machines he played were taken offline for maintenance. But each time, he moved on with very calm, unfazed demeanor. Finally, weeks later, the casino made a quiet back-end update. The payout timing algorithm was randomized. No press release or public explanation, just a quiet patch to fix the flaw. But by then, he'd walked out with over $50,000, all without ever once crossing the line. But legends don't always disappear. They evolve, quietly, into something even harder to trace. Hit subscribe and comment if you want to uncover even riskier stories. After his final win, he vanished without celebration. There was no media involved or any digital footprint whatsoever. Just a neatly folded player card left on a table, and a surveillance clip of him walking out the doors one last time, unbothered, unreadable. He never returned to that casino. Never had he tried the same trick twice. For months, staff even whispered theories revolving around him being part of a team, a rogue developer, an insider turned rogue. But the truth is, no one really knows. Some say he now works behind the scenes, consulting for casinos on risk analysis and helping them close the loopholes he once exploited. Others think he moved east, quietly testing newer digital systems, tracking flaws in online algorithms and remote shuffle protocols. A few believe he's gone entirely underground, waiting for the next opportunity, patient as ever. Without ever giving a name or breaking a law, he developed a strategy that lives on, circulating through gambling forums like a ghost in the code.